Good afternoon, children. Today we will study the development of embryo. As you all know that embryo, it develops from the zygote, and zygote is present near the micropylar end because egg cell is also present near the micropylar end. So when the male nucleus fuses with the female nucleus or egg nucleus forming zygote, then the formation of zygote takes place at the micropylar end. So here one thing is very important, that prior to formation of embryo, endosperm is formed, right? So endosperm, not the entire development of endosperm takes place, the means the development of endosperm takes place prior than that of zygote. So this question, it can come in your examination, that why endosperm nucleus start dividing earlier than the zygote, right? So answer of this question is that as developing embryo need nourishment, so this endosperm, it divide mitotically, forming many nuclei, and this the endosperm give nourishment to the developing embryo. So in this diagram you are seeing that primary endosperm nucleus, it is dividing prior to the division of zygote, and this later on these nuclei, they are giving nourishment, providing nourishment to the developing embryo, right? So now we will study the stages of embryo development, which is said to be embryogeny, right? So first of all, you know that zygote, it is formed, and this zygote divide mitotically, forming two cells. First cell, which is towards the micropylar end, it is said to be the basal suspensor cell, and the other cell which is toward the chalazal end, it is said to be the terminal embryo cell. Now this basal suspensor cell again divide mitotically, forming 4 to 8 cells, and it is said to be the suspensor. Now this suspensor pushes terminal embryo cell towards the endosperm, so that this terminal embryo cell, it can derive nutrition from the embryo. Later on, this terminal embryo cell also divide mitotically, forming a globular structure which is said to be the proembryo, right? So proembryo is formed, and this proembryo changes to the globular shape structure, and then the heart shape embryo is formed. After heart shape, torpedo, and then mature embryo, it is formed. So in this diagram you are seeing that zygote is there. This zygote is dividing mitotically into two cells, that is basal suspensor and terminal embryo cell. Now the basal suspensor cell divide mitotically, forming 4 to 8 cell, and it pushes the terminal embryo cell into the endosperm so as to derive the nourishment. Later on, this terminal embryo cell also divide and redivide, forming a globular structure. So this is said to be the globular structure or globular embryo. Later on, again mitotic division takes place, which result in the formation of heart-shaped embryo, and then this heart-shaped embryo get converted into torpedo-shaped embryo, and ultimately mature embryo it is formed, right? So as you all know, children, monocot and dicot seeds, they differ with each other. Most of the seeds, if you see the structure of seeds, they are different, but early stages of embryo development is same in all the seeds, whether they are different in shape, size, but their stages of development, they are same. Now in this seed you are seeing that this is the groundnut seed, and here endosperm is not there, right? Earlier in the previous lecture, I told you about endospermic and non-endospermic seed. So in this groundnut seed, embryo is there, but endosperm is not there. It can be asked in your examination. So where this endosperm, why endosperm is absent in groundnut seed? So this endosperm, entire endosperm, it get used in providing nourishment to the developing embryo, right? So as it get used up, so it is not seen in the seed, right? So here, when the seed germinates, then the nourishment to the development or germinating seed is provided by the cotyledon, which are said to be the seed leaves. Now I'll tell you the next example. This is the next example of castor seed, where you are seeing well developed endosperm. Endosperm is there in this seed. That means while giving nourishment to the developing embryo, whole of the endosperm is not used here. That is why it is present in the seed, right? So on the basis of presence and absence of endosperm, seed are categorized into two: non-endospermic seed like pea, gram, kidney beans, they are non-endospermic seed, and endospermic seed like castor seed, wheat, rice, you will see the endosperm, right? So here they are showing you the picture of diagram of maize seed, where you are seeing the aileron layer, and this aileron layer contain enzyme amylase, which dissolve the starch, and this starch provide nourishment to the developing embryo. Now we are going to study the structure of dicot and monocot embryo, right? So if you see under the microscope, or if you see the structure of dicot and monocot embryo, what you will see? You will see certain differences, and from those differences you will be able to easily identify whether this embryo belongs to dicot plant or it belongs to monocot plant. First of all, we will study about dicotyledonous embryo, right? So in dicotyledonous embryo, the structure of dicotyledonous embryo is different, I told you, and the main important parts of dicot embryo is here you will find the embryonic axis, right? Embryonic axis, as the name suggests, right? The axis of the embryo, where all the parts of the embryo, they are attached. So main axis of the embryo, which divided into different region, is said to be the embryonic axis, right? So in the embryonic axis you will find cotyledons. Another name of cotyledon, it is seed leaves. As the name suggests, they are said to be the seed leaves. That means they provide nourishment to the germinating seed, and it's stored fat. Actually the grains and the pulses which you eat, actually it is a stored food of a seed which you are eating. So when the seeds start germinating, these cotyledon or the seed leaves, they get consumed, right? And you will not see after some time when the whole of the seed get germinated, right? So now, what is the function of these cotyledons? The function of cotyledon is to provide nourishment to the developing plumule and radicle, or developing or germinating seed, right? If seed is germinating, that means it need nourishment, because root system and shoot system has to be formed, and leaves, they are not there. So in the absence of leaf, as you know, plants are green plants, they are autotrophic, so they have to synthesize their food by own. But in seed, leaves are not there. So during that time, these cotyledon provide nourishment to the germinating seed. Now the next part which you will find in embryonic axis is epicotyle, right? It is the part of the embryonic axis just above the cotyledon. It is very important. Just above the cotyledon is epicotyle. Name, epi means above, cotyle means cotyledon. So the part of the embryonic axis which is above the cotyledon, it is said to be epicotyle, and it terminates at plumule, right? So Now the next, hypocotyle. Again, name suggests hypo means low, cotyle means cotyledon. Part of embryonic axis below cotyledon, it is said to be hypocotyle, and it terminates at radicle. Clear? Now you know that plumule, it forms the shoot system, and radicle, it forms the root system, right? So plumule give rise to shoot system in plants, and radicle give rise to root system, and this radicle is protected by a covering which is said to be the root cap. Now I will show you the diagram of dicotyledonous embryo. Here you are seeing the various part of the dicotyledonous embryo. These are the cotyledon. This is epicotyle, which is not marked here in this diagram. Epicotyle terminate into plumule, right? So these are the two cotyledon or seed leaves. Below the cotyledon, it is hypocotyle, right? And hypocotyle terminate into radicle, and radicle is covered by a root cap. So this is the structure of typical dicotyledonous embryo, right? In all the dicot embryo, you will find this type of structure. Now we come to monocotyledonous embryo. Now again, same parts they are there, but little bit difference. Here also embryonic axis is there, and from embryonic axis cotyledon is attached. But here one, instead of two cotyledons which are found in dicot, here only one cotyledon it is there. Okay, and characteristics of this cotyledon is that it is present at one side only, right? And in grass it is said to be scutellum, right? So in page number 35 of your NCERT book, you will find this diagram and all the parts of the monocot embryo, and question asked from the dicot and monocot embryo, diagrammatic questions they are there, so please read it carefully. Now two new terms which are there in monocotyledonous embryo which are not found in dicotyledonous embryo. They are coleorhiza and coleoptile, right? Coleorhiza and coleoptile. Again, it is very important. Coleorhiza, remember this, that it is a sheath which includes radicle and root cap, right? There was no sheath there in dicot, but here one sheath is there which includes radicle and root cap. Same way, one sheath is there which enclose plumule and leaf primordia. Leaf primordia, I told you earlier that primordia is a group of cells which give rise to certain organ, right? So again, coleorhiza is a sheath which includes radicle and root cap, and coleoptile is a sheath which include plumule and few leaf primordia. Now here is the diagram of monocotyledonous embryo. Here you are seeing the scutellum which is present only at one side, coleoptile, and inside this coleoptile you will find these structure, they are said to be the leaf primordia, and in this leaf primordia you will also find plumule, and this coleoptile is a sheath which is actually covering this leaf primordia and plumule, right? Now here it is radicle. One structure, epiblast, is also there, and this is radicle. Radicle is protected by root cap, and this radicle and root cap, it is covered by a sheath called coleorhiza, which is not shown in the next diagram. I will show you the coleorhiza. This green color structure, it is said to be the coleorhiza. So this entire axis, it is said to be the embryonal axis, right? So this is monocotyledonous embryo. So you can easily differentiate between, if it comes in your examination, you will be easily able to differentiate between dicotyledonous embryo and monocotyledonous embryo. Scutellum is here, there scutellum is absent, means there are only two seed leaves they are there in dicot. Here only one seed leaf is there. Presence of coleorhiza and coleoptile in monocotyledonous embryo, while it is absent in dicotyledonous embryo. So you can write the differences easily. Okay, now we come to the, here they are showing the coleorhiza. Okay, coleorhiza is there. which is a sheath covering radicle and root caps. Children, you have to draw diagram in your examination very much carefully. Okay, as you are seeing that labeling, it is in one side. This is the actual way to do the labeling, right? So it is be clearly marked, and the diagram should look attractive as well as it can easily readable. Now in this slide we are seeing the germination of seeds. You are seeing the method of germination in monocots and dicots. They are different, right? As they are not in your NCERT book as well as it is not there in your course, that is why I am not covering this topic in very much detail. So this much for today, children. Thank you very much.